Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Freedom Boat Club's KnowWake demonstration. I think you're really going to enjoy this event. Dan Karsko is with KnowWake, and he's going to put this on for us. Dan, why don't we turn it over to you? We really appreciate you doing this, and Taylor will keep adding on as we go.
Thank you, guys. I'm just going to share my screen here. Just let me know that you're seeing the app, and we'll get started right away. There we go. Let's make sure we're able to see the screen. Shucks, I had it up there. And let me go back into the Teams menu. Share the screen. Okay, there we go. We should be back in business now. All right, perfect. Thanks so much for this opportunity. We're really excited to show you a couple of extra pointers about KnowWake. There's a lot to explore, but we also tried to give a lot of thought to this and make it as easy as possible to find your way around the app and not ever hesitate to hit buttons and select different settings and try different things. You'll always be able to go backwards and get back to where you were. So nothing bad can happen if you explore the app on your own. We also have some tutorials inside of the YouTube channel KnowWake, and we're always happy to do some more one-on-ones or answer any questions through our email at info@knowwake.com. Easy way to get a hold of us at any time. I want to definitely say thank you to the Freedom Boat Club Lake St. Clair team. You guys are awesome. You really demonstrate what KnowWake is all about, all the way from your hazard mitigation team to your channel marker activity and making sure everything's in line. We love that. We're happy to be a part of this community. We're going to start off with the simple stuff, just signing up and getting set, then opening up the app and diving into navigation. So the easiest part to log in through KnowWake is if you either have a Facebook account, an established Gmail account, or a Apple sign-in, and that will just simplify the verification process. That verification process just lets us know that you're a human being, you're not a bot. We're not using any of your login information through your Facebook or your Gmail. So if you can go in through that method, it's the quickest way to get started right into the process. But what we're going to do is we're going to log in through a fresh email. So what you would do is if you have not signed up at all, you'll see a button down there on the bottom that says new, register here. I'm just going to quickly register. We'll just put my name in there. Again, this information is mainly used for us to communicate with you, whether you're adding information to the app or you have questions. It's a way for us to keep a back and forth going. Nothing else happens with your information. And we'll just go ahead and put in the info at KnowWake email. And we'll make a simple password, ABC123. And if you want to just double check that, you can hit the little eyeball there to see it. Just make sure this one is the same one. And we're going to sign up. Again, this is part of the verification process. So what we have to do now is if you have not signed up through Facebook, Gmail, or use an Apple ID, we're just going to go into our email here. And it might take a second to verify. And you're going to see a simple verify button. Yep. We have some friend requests. And we'll just take a second. And I hope if everyone's got their app open, or I'm sorry, if they have their app available over there, just go ahead and follow along. Oh, you know what? I apologize. I went into the wrong email. We're just going to verify this email. It's just a verify account button, and it looks a lot like what you just saw there. When you tap on that button, it'll automatically bring you to the app to open it. It says it's been activated. And what's going to happen is now, once you go back into the app, you can sign back in, or since we've been verified, it automatically does it. So we didn't have to do anything. I implore everyone to take the tour. It's pretty simple. We just highlight everything that we have to offer, and a quick overview. And we're going to dive into all of this, but a quick scroll will give you a better idea of it. And once you get through this, we'll be at the beginning of the setup. This is where we ask you to choose a vessel. We've got everything, so try to flip through here and find something that represents your vessel. And we have a lot of fun ways that we can connect and make your vessel a lot more personalized in the future. We've got the Boston Whaler, we've got the Sea Ray, we've got all kinds of boats you'll recognize. Go ahead and pick one that matches something for you. For us, let's just go ahead and pick this tugboat. Big fan of that. And you have to give it a name. So you need to choose a vessel and give it a name. Those are the only things that we really require to get started. A lot of people put this information in. It becomes helpful later on in the app for different things when you're navigating and cruising. But just for simplification, we're going to go ahead and jump through this. If you do have a chance to add in the length of your boat or the height, things like this are going to make sense when you start to go through bridges or you need to get through specifically deep water. The more we know about your vessel, the better of an experience we can give you. Just go ahead and hit next. These are the basic preferences for how you want to see your information, metric or standard system. Here in the States, I think most people will recognize miles per hour, miles for distance, and feet for depth. And the anchor alarm is a tool that allows you to see if you're moving from the position where you put your anchor. It's a really simple way to use technology to be alerted if your anchor is dragging. We'll show you how to do that here shortly. And then when we hit next, it's going to ask us now the weather preferences. Same difference, just if it's for your weather versus your navigation. We'll do miles per hour, Fahrenheit, feet, and feet. And now that we've gotten through the vessel information, this is how you want to receive information from us. Email is how you would receive it. Through your email. A push means push notification, so that's that little drop down notification that comes on every phone, or both. So you can get alerted in your email, through your phone, or of course none. We went with default for both for all, and that's really helpful for when you start getting friend requests or we start to communicate with you while you're underway. As soon as you hit next and get started, the app automatically opens right up to where you want to be. And it takes about 2 or 3 seconds for all the information to load. If you have great internet, it might be quicker. If it's a little slower, it might be a little bit longer. But you really just want to see that when you start to see points of interest pop up, you know you've hit home. Also with the colored wake zones, it's an easy way to know that you've got to where you want to be. We'll go ahead and zoom out here. And I think we're going to do a lot of the app demo in the area that you guys are located in. But first, we're going to go into the Helm menu. So you have these 3 buttons across the bottom. To the left is the Helm. We have the augmented reality menu. And then this here is the reporting menu all the way to the right. And we'll dive into that in just a minute. So from the left button over here, again, we call it the Helm button. And you'll hear that in our tutorials, or if we're station with you and we mention that, this is what we're talking about. So automatically, your weather station is going to be your most local weather station. We're reporting from almost 60,000 stations. So if you want to check different areas, it's that easy. But it's always going to default you in the beginning. Also, if you see this little red flag, that's great that it's on there right now. That's a weather advisory. Right now, this is a heat advisory, but this comes from NOAA, and it's all location-based. So if that flag is there, it's something you should know about in your area, and you just tap the flag and it comes open. Then underneath the tide bar, the blue tide bar, you'll see 5 separate menus for weather. This really gives a lot more detail about everything, including the wind, precipitation. This is where you can change the location of your weather. These are the tide cycles and how much they swing, different swells, moon phases, and then you can break that down into different days on the calendar so you can see when certain sunrises or tides will be during the week. Makes it a little easier to plan. Just by tapping on the top there, you can jump ahead to the 5-day forecast and it moves all the information along for you. And again, if you just tap on either the menu or the search field button on the top, or this little magnifying glass, you can search all the different weather stations that we have. Pretty easy and pretty cool. So the first thing that we really want to get into that makes KnowWake cool is the friending and the community side of this, and how you can connect with people and be interactive while you're on the water. Or what we're finding a lot is people are using KnowWake when they're just on their couch, whether they're planning or they're starting to make different. Are you guys, is this following along too? I see that it looks a little frozen on my other screen. Are you guys able to see?
Yeah, it is frozen on my screen.
Huh. Let me, thanks for saying so. I just looked up on my other computer screen. Let me stop the presentation, and then we'll open it back up with a fresh start. Apologize for that. If that happens again, just let us know. So we'll stop the presentation. Okay, and we'll open it back up.
Now it's good. Thank
Okay,
you.
great. I apologize. I'll keep my eye up ahead and make sure that doesn't happen again. But again, we have a connectivity in the community side of things. So when you're reaching out to people, whether you know them or not, you can add them to your KnowWake community, and then you can share your location, communicate with them, share points of interest, share routes. There's a lot of ways that everything you're doing inside of KnowWake you can share. So what you would do to search for friends and or places is inside this menu right here. Is you see people and places. You can search anywhere in the KnowWake app for any point of interest that you can think of, whether we have it on there or it's marked on a Google map. I think Brown's Bar is a popular one over there by you guys. So you just start typing it in, and we'll be able to scroll down or add it directly in. But here's a great example of how everything will just show right up with the icon that it corresponds with. But for right now, we are interested in people. So when you tap on the people button, it tells you right here, you can locate people through their name, their vessel name, their phone number, or their email address. And for us, I'm just going to go ahead and reach out to our other info. Oh, I'm sorry. It's going to be a Tell you what, sorry about that. Sea-Doo switch. We've got a handful of ones here. So here's an example of multiple vessels, all named Sea-Doo switch, but we know that we want to reach out to Dan K. That's right here, and we'll just hit the add friend button. And now it's been added to our friend list as soon as it gets accepted on the other side here. And I'll go ahead and accept that. And the other phone, you can see there, the friend request has been accepted. That's how simple it is to get connected with some people in your network. Now, when you open this up and you tap on your friends, you'll see that this friend is now connected, and you can start sharing information there. If you need to either go through that again or you didn't catch that, you can easily go into the YouTube channel, and you'll see in volume 1 how to connect with friends. Those same friends you can now message with. So as soon as you open it up and you've got your friends, it's just clicking on this, message user, and just like any other messaging service, it's just a quick hello, and now it's been sent to the other user. And all this information will be useful in just a short bit when we start to send more things like points of interest and routes and things that we've done, or sharing your location. Another important part about the friending is when you share your location here, we'll drop down the share location button. You have the option. Do you want to share your location with everyone, with a group of people, or just individual friends? So the more you have, the more connections you have on KnowWake, the easier it is to build groups with your family, your fishing buddies, maybe your wakeboard friends, and you can alert certain people and let them know that you're on the app and they can see you, and only if you've given them permission. So once you start to build your friends list up and you hit on, automatically it starts to share the location with everybody. But if you wanted to only share the location with Dan, you would just hit that check mark. You go back. Now, when you unselect those, you can see the share location is on, and you're sharing with the friends that you selected. If we had multiple friends we wanted to share with, we could, or we could actually build a group with those people. When you click on the group, create group, this gives you an opportunity to add multiple friends to that same group. We'll just call this the FBC group. I think this would be great for your club over there to stay connected with people that you're always with. And now that we've got the FBC group, we would add friends, and we'd have the entire list of all our friends here, and we'll just go ahead and add ourselves. And now the FBC group has that list of people in it. And in the future, if we're cruising and we just want to say we want to share with groups, we would select that group and we would select the FBC group. And just like that, now when you're sharing your location, it's only going to be to the people you selected there. And you definitely want to play around with this. It's super simple. You can't really break anything, and we tried to make it as simple as possible. So that's the basics of a sharing location. And if you look here, I think I saw a few people out there sharing their location. We can just click on them, and it's as simple as that. The FPC man, thanks for playing along. And right here, it's very simple for me to just send a friend request, either just a request, which I'll do, or we could include a message. Now that a request is out, and FPC man probably received that. And now it's simple as that to turn your location on and off. The next part of KnowWake that's one of our favorite parts is all the points of interest we have on here. So we've got marinas and fuel, which also include fuel prices, and a lot of other businesses that you're really glad to know about on the water. Restaurants is a great example, and yacht clubs and places that you may be coming from or picking people up. There's also public points of interest. Thank you, sir, for your request accepted. There's also things like lodging and town docks, and these are public accessible locations that as long as it's on the app, it's been verified, and you can guarantee that dock is actually there. We've reached out to every business that was connected to any of these points of interest and verified all of them through calls. So you can definitely rely on KnowWake in that side. What I want to do here is maybe zoom into the area to give you a little bit better of an idea of how the points of interest look on the app. There's a fuel dock there, and you can see when you open it up, there's not a claim button there because somebody's already claimed this business, which is great. But you'll see the fuel prices. If you're within 500 feet of this dock, you can tap there and you'll be able to add fuel prices. That's the same way Gas Buddy works. That's the same way Waze works. And there's a lot of things that we try to do to protect the businesses from people from adding information that wasn't true or anything of that nature. You see all the points of interest have information inside of them, whether it's a name, a depth, or a type of structure. Businesses are extremely unique because we have a claim button on there. If you're a business owner on the water here, you would just hit that claim button. This just makes sure that you're actually ready for it. You'd hit yes. As long as you can answer that business phone number there, go ahead and do so. It'll send a 4-digit code. You can connect to it, and now your KnowWake account will be connected to the business side of the point of interest here. And you can start to add things like hours and links and social media contacts, docking instructions, VHF channels. Every business is pretty unique on what kind of information they want the users to know about. So again, poke around. There's no wrong way to play with this, and I'm sure you'll find things you didn't realize were there. You can also see what KnowWake's namesake was all about. We're big on wake zones. We added over 6,000 miles of wake zone to KnowWake, and they actually change colors to always be accurate with what the signage is. So if it's green, you can go fast. Yellow means slow, no wake, and red, typically under bridges or in high traffic areas, you'll see is an idle zone. Different areas of the country are a little bit more detailed, and they'll actually change on the weekends or during holidays and their specific times. So pay attention to the color of the wake zones. We have a little legend on the inside here too that we'll dive into in just a second. A few more things about points of interest. The boat ramps that you may have seen, just the same way as fuel prices. Let's see if we can just locate a nearby boat ramp here. That looks like a one. So boat ramps, just like fuel prices, have an opportunity where you can put the fee in. If you don't know, or if you're nearby it, you would just put the price in there, whatever it may be. Let's just say it's $7 a day. And you hit update price, and now you'll see that that information is added, $7 a day. We'll change that as soon as we hang up. But there's all kinds of information in every point of interest, and the community can really help add to that. You'll also see every point of interest has the same buttons. There's a route button, there's a share button, and there's a star, which means it's your favorite. So when you start to add a collection of favorites, you can then just turn on your favorites list, and those are the only points of interest you'll see on the chart. So this is where planning the night before, you can pick all the places you want to go, and then when you turn your favorites on, they're all there, pretty clear. You'll also see the edit button. The edit button goes for every point of interest, and that's if you notice something's different, whether it's a name change, a price change, or it's closed. COVID really proved how much this was a powerful tool because a lot of restaurants were closing down. But more importantly, the auto routing button. Now I'm a little far away, so this might give it a little bit of a workout, but this can do some pretty heavy lifting, and it's designed to bring you through deep water routes, and then you can choose based on weather or sea conditions if you actually want to be inside the channel or you're ready to go outside. For ourselves, we're interested in the water route, but maybe you wanted to meet someone at a boat ramp or a restaurant and they were coming by water, but you needed to get there by road. So that's why we offer the opportunity to route by road. What we'll do is we'll just go ahead, and this is going to illustrate a few things here. Okay, so because we're so far away, it's not actually in a position to route us to exactly where we're at here in Lake St. Clair. But when you guys start playing with it, hit the routing button, and you'll start to see it'll give you options. And then what will actually happen is once the route begins, and you know what? Here's what I'll do. Or we'll come back to that. Let's just show a little bit more about the points of interest here. So there's the favorite button. We've already added one. And then this little share button, which is super helpful. Now that we have friends in our list, when we hit the share button, now if I want to share this point of interest, I'll just do like that. And it's now sent that point of interest to both of us. And in the future, when I want to go back to the friends list and we look inside the messages, we just sent that to FBC man, you will see that message now has this little link in it. So from your message board, whether you sent this or it was sent to you, you can now click on it. And if you want to view it on the chart, once you click on it, you hit view on chart, and it will automatically bring you right to that spot. So that's how sharing points of interest and routes and things that you've done on the water are super helpful in KnowWake, and you'll start to find it get easier and easier. Every point of interest, especially businesses, has a lot of information, the website, the phone numbers, and again, the claim button, so that if you are the owner or manager of that business, you can really start to reach out and make it all connect. So as far as sharing, everyone saw how that worked, and I'll do a little bit more detailed view here of how the routing works. So something that's pretty cool with KnowWake is we pull information from three main sources. There's the NOAA charts, there's the Army Corps of Engineers, and there's also the Coast Guard. So all three of those agencies make KnowWake really come together to make it safe and accurate. And these get updated every 9 minutes. I think there's over 76,000 channel markers, buoys, and beacons. And then, of course, you have your depth charts. All super helpful when you're on the water. Even if you have a second unit, this is a great way to have as a backup. Or what we also find on KnowWake is it's not just the driver that's using it. Typically, it's a lot of people on the same vessel. So they could be helping make the decisions on where they're going to go, how they're going to get there, when they should leave. There's a lot of things based on information that KnowWake has, including the weather. We included these little points of interest you'll see there. We call them virtual jetty lights. Keep an eye out for them. These are just ways that we were able to use our tech and our charts to start to make visible or to start to make hidden or unclear obstacles visible. So anytime you see those little don't go signs, that typically means there's something in the water that's there. Mostly it's going to be jetties or low riding pylons. You'll see more as you go out and explore. And again, with the routing button, as long as what I'll do is I'll actually go somewhere down here in Florida. Sorry, I'll be sliding around here. Let's just go ahead and pick a point of interest that's just a little bit closer. When I hit the routing button, again, it's going to ask me, do you want to go by road or water? We choose water. What's typically going to happen is it's going to bring you to the closest boat ramp, and then from the boat ramp, it's gonna enter the water, and then follow the channel markers to where you want to go. And as you see here, you have the location of where you're starting and where you're ending. At any point in time, if you want to change that, you just click on it, and now you can type in any information you want. We would just say, I'm going to say West Palm. Let's see if something comes up. So now we can change where it started from and now where it's ending. And again, we're going to go to the water, and you can see it changed from north to south. And what I'll do is I'll turn by this little toggle switch on the bottom right hand side. We just simply can turn those channel markers on and off, including the depth. So if we go ahead and hit start, it's actually going to begin where we're at. And now we're in this view, and it's going to simply be able to start recording. So just by hitting start tracking, and now it's leaving what we call breadcrumbs. Those breadcrumbs are going to leave a blue trail behind you, and then that trail is able to be used and saved at later dates or shared with the community, which is again a lot of fun when you go to a certain place and you had to get through some skinny water. It's really helpful. Go ahead and turn the channel markers off. Again, it's just that little button on the bottom right that looks like a buoy. That's how easy you can turn that stuff on and off. Underneath that is our location button. So if you're way over here on the map and you want to zoom into your area but not change the height that you're viewing it, you can change the view pretty easily. And if you double click it, it will zoom in and keep your location. What else do we have? So inside of here, we're just going to go ahead and open up our chart settings. These are all the different charts you can change. It's super easy to flip through them, but you can you'll see dark mode will come on at night. Super helpful. We'll just leave it like that. And then on the overlay, we'll close this to make it a little less. So this is where you can say, yes, we want the wake zones on. We want the channel markers on. Mile markers if you're in the freshwater areas that have mile markers. This is your NOAA depth channel, and then this is your automatic information system. So this is where you would actually see all the vessels in your area that are marked and have their transponders on. Super neat tool when you're a high traffic area like you guys are with big barges. You always want to keep your eye out for that. And then with the trips, this is everything I was telling you about. Once you have some trips saved, they'll actually be right there. And just like the points of interest, you can share those with your community. You'll start your trip from here. You can save your trips and you can share them all through there. And they'll get saved and they'll add up. The anchor alarm just below my trips. Oh, and if you're just kind of riding and you just want to start leaving breadcrumbs, all you do is you just hit start no, and now those little dots are going to be starting to get left behind you. And then at any point in time, as soon as you hit stop, it's going to ask you, do you want to save it? We didn't go anywhere, so we won't try to. If you did, it would say, hey, go a little further. Just below that, we have the anchor alarm. This is as simple as it sounds. You would move this little radius. So say you drop your anchor and you don't want to go further than 90 feet from where you started. As soon as you hit start, it actually puts a little ring around you. So if you start to drift outside of that ring, this is going to set off an alarm and say you need to reset your anchor or try to reposition. We'll go ahead and pull that anchor alarm. When you start to have some anchorages, you can actually save them and you can collect them, and people are always sharing them with each other. It's actually a really cool feature when you start to save your moorings. You can find little safe coves. It's a great thing. Below the anchor alarm, you'll see our settings. This is another perfect example of things just kind of poke through. Inside the profile, this is where you'll put your information in. This is where you can log out from the app if you ever need to. This is the vessel information. Sorry about that. I'd have to change the iPad the other way. But this is where you can change your vessel avatar. Preferences, we've already went through this. Another way that you can get to preferences is by tapping on the information or the speed dial up in the top right. By tapping on that, it'll bring you right to preferences. And then another one just below that is the depth gauge. On that depth gauge, you will actually see whatever depth you're at. So what we do is it's sort of a wireless depth finder. So you will always know what the chart says underneath of you, and it will display right there. But if you want to know what that chart says elsewhere, you just tap on that until the ring highlights, and now you can tap anywhere on the chart, and it's going to tell you what the depth is there. So if you're headed into a marina, or you're going to a spot that you're unsure of, and the chart sort of seems like it's not as detailed as you want it to be, you either zoom in or you can just tap on that and it'll bring you to exactly where you want to be. Another setting here is the legend I mentioned here. Great to familiarize yourself with what the speed zones mean with the color coding. And there's a lot of information in here to give you a better idea of how KnowWake works. Offline mode, super important. If you find that you're going to be leaving service, but you still want all your information to work, GPS will always work. But if you just hit on, as long as you're in service for a few seconds, that's how quick KnowWake loaded all of the chart data and is now ready to turn on and off without ever having to have cell phone service. Go ahead and turn offline mode back off. And the safety checklists underneath here, this is some great stuff where you would know how big your boat is and what you need to know. And then we also have the required information and the recommended equipment. As if you have it on board, you just give it a little check, and now you know for a fact that it's there, and you don't have to double guess. And underneath that, we have the float plan. Float plan is super cool. If you want to send it as an email or as a text message, it'll use your address book or your phone book, and it'll automatically write in the information you need. And again, the more information we know, the quicker this will happen. And you just put in whatever is important to let them know where you're at, where you're going, and when you'll be back. Float plans are a great way to stay safe and know that if something happens, someone's going to be looking for you. Last month, 272 KnowWake users submitted a float plan through our service, and that's just through the app. So it's been a great tool that we know is being used, and we're super happy with how it's coming along. So that was for the Helm, and the other side of the chart here is the reporting menu. This is just like Waze. If you're familiar with the Waze driving navigation, this is a very similar experience. If you tap on one of them, it'll give you a sub menu. If it's a debris or something shallow, like you guys with the hazard mitigation stuff, once you hit next, just like Waze, you can mark wherever you want. Let's just post this. I'll take it out of dark mode too. Here, sorry about that. Go to back into the hybrid mode. I'm always a fan of the satellite. Like to use visual references when I'm driving down a canal. It's like, yep, that's in the house with the blue roof. So if you're the one that posted the hazard, you can remove it or edit it at any point in time. Or again, you have to be within 500 feet to remove that point of interest that was added. We'll go up here to the lake, so some good ones. So you can see the hazard mitigation team has been adding things, and if you drive by it and you say, hey, that's definitely there and it looks great, add a thumbs up. That lets us know that that's a real point of interest that somebody else added. If this was a point that we added, there would be a remove button, or if I was within 500 feet of this, I would have an opportunity to remove it. And that's just so that there's actually somebody setting eyes on the hazard, and you know that it actually needs to be removed. Tons of hazards, ways that you can communicate, electric lines, whether it's underneath the water or power lines above the waterways, all great ways to stay safe and help the community. There's a lot of spots where at different times of year, the no passage becomes a factor. So please jump in the app when you see something, say something. Wrapped ups are great. I heard that you guys had a great time at the raft off last weekend. If you want to tell everybody about it or keep it a secret, we totally understand, but this is a great way to tell people, yes, we're here, and then it works the same way. People can communicate with you through that. Everybody knows and it's a favorite, the marking the police officers or law enforcement, and believe it or not, they appreciate what we're doing here. They know that it's actually a help, And we find that police officers are actually marking themselves out on the waterways, and they say it's as simple as this: we want people to know where we're at. It's not cat and mouse. We're glad people know that we're just around the corner, or if they need our help, that they know that they can find us. So use that, and know that when somebody puts it in, most likely it's they're there, and they remove it when they're not. The next button over is Save Spot. Now this is a private spot, so this is where you can mark something on the chart and nobody else can see it unless you want them to. So we'll just go ahead and save this spot, and we'll just call it the private spot. Now, when we save it, we could have added notes like, "Hey, that's a crab hole," or "This is a favorite hangout." And just like any other point of interest, you can share it with anybody in your network. So once you add some cool saved private spots, this is your opportunity to then send this to whomever you want. And FBC Man just received that. And if we had notes on there, we'd be able to add them. And now he can also add notes in and out there. The fixed chart, this is where we need your help. If there's something on there that you see that's wrong, and this is where we're really trying to enlist the help. If we hit submit, and let's just say slow, you send that. We just received that in our back end that said that point of interest says slow. So typically what people do is they'll mark the beginning of the slow zone and they'll mark the end of the slow zone. And then we know when we look at it, so we'll say slow end. We've got some cool updates coming out that are going to make that a lot easier, and it's going to actually leave a trail. But right now, we just received 2 points of interest, one start, one slow start, or one slow end, and we'll connect those dots on our end. The SOS button, super duper cool. If it's an emergency or not, it works. So what you're going to do is when you hit no, it's not an emergency, you can now still connect to the Coast Guard closest to you, but we're really using the power of the community here. So if you have a chance to tell somebody around you and it's not a super emergency, you can tell them I need a tow and I've got a dead battery. Now, as soon as I drop that SOS button, so actually it dropped it on top of me. You can't put an SOS somewhere else, excuse me. So what we did is now that it's blinking like that, everybody within 5 nautical miles just got alerted that there's an SOS that's been dropped. And if they click on it, they can route to me, they can message me. I'm gonna go ahead and cancel that before anybody starts reaching out to us. But if you get a chance, or you want to try it, if you drop it, just prepare yourself to know that you're alerting all the KnowWake users close by. And you can, again, play with this. You don't go too far into it. You couldn't if you wanted to. We tell you, you're calling, you're about to take this next step. There's a lot of fail safes. So you keep poking around until you get right there, and you'll see what we mean. And then the dive flag, this is exactly what it sounds like. So we can set the location, or we can have this dive flag follow us. So if you're in the water or you want to let people know, so this just put a 300-foot ring across the point of interest. So now when boaters are coming close, they'll actually see that you have this in the water. And when they click on it, it says, please stay within a safe distance. And if you want that to follow you because you have people, or you've got a wakeboard behind you or something, there's a ton of reasons why you may want to keep this in one place, or you may want to have it follow you. Go ahead and remove that from the chart. And one of the last more important things is adding a point of interest, so you can just let us know if there's anything missing, what it is, where it's at. Since I selected a business, it's going to ask me if I want to go to the business portal. We'll just say no. Sorry, got a little bit of there with the landscape view, but yeah, you get the point with that. And that really does conclude the majority of the on water reporting. Actually, let me just go ahead and pop that back open. The augmented reality, it's exactly what it sounds like. If you hold the phone up or the screen up, it'll actually show you whatever's up ahead, and you'll see points of interest and hazards and things you need to know about. Something we're pretty excited about is all of the locations that are event-based. So when you scroll around, you look in the app, you'll see these points of interest that really jump out. Here's a big ride that's coming up, and we've got the route. We've got a lot of information about it. There was something over here in the Bahamas that's popping up, the Contender Rendezvous. Again, cruise around the app. You'll see a lot of fun things, and you can also let us know if things are going on. The meetups are a big part of the community, and we have a lot of ways that we can stay connected. We are huge for the Great Loop adventurers, and we understand that you guys are a big passageway for the Great Loopers. So expect to see some large trawlers and some tugs and cruisers coming through that are using KnowWake, so you can connect with them or keep an eye out for their shared location. We have over 50,000 points of verified interest on there, and we're available all over the U.S., Canada, and we're actually in 34 countries now. So if you want to tell people about it in different areas, please do. We have a lot going on in the future. Please follow us on any of our social media channels, and you can also reach out to us at info@knowwake.com or straight to me, dan@knowwake.com. Something I want to offer is, you saw here we have all these individual avatars. If you want to send a picture of your vessel, take a picture of the top of it and the side of it, and the first 20 people that send us pictures of their vessels, we're going to go ahead and make you some custom avatars, and it'll look just like your vessel, and it's really cool. There's a few other things in here, but again, if you play around with it and you get a chance to try different stuff, do not hesitate. We're certain that you're going to find things that you like and you didn't know were there. And please help us add things like fuel prices, boat ramps, and any other information that might be helpful for the other boaters that are on the water. Not sure. I know we went past the 30-minute mark. Wanted to try to get it in there. You can send some questions or anything like that, again, to dan@knowwake.com, info@knowwake.com, or any of our social media channels. We love this stuff. We have a lot of things we're rolling out that we want to share as they become available. So if you keep an eye on our social channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of them, you'll see some fun things, and we'd love to tell you about them. There's anything else, maybe Mr. Dobrev or the FBC man.
All right. Hey, Dan, it's Steve Dobrev with Freedom Boat Club, Lake St. Clair. Now, how as the business owner, how do I put each one of our locations on the KnowWake app?
Sure. So you could easily reach directly to me, and that'll be the easiest way to get started. But if you wanted to just add any regular business, so you're more concerned about the FBC, but if you want to just play with it, you would hit the add location button and then add it as a marina, and then we can start the communication. But we'll get to, this is what you'll probably look like once we get a little more in there. We've got the Marine Max Miami starting to show up, so we give a little bit more visibility to the funner brands and the people that we want to be a part of.
All right. And if I want, like we've got a lot of restaurants around the lake. Is how do I engage them to get their information out onto the app and
Perfect.
put that?
So
if
they're not already on there, they can go through the same tool here with the add location, choose a restaurant. But we're fairly certain that the majority of the restaurants are on there. So they would hit the restaurant, and then you see that claim button there. When you hit that claim button, it brings them through a very simple process. As long as their KnowWake accounts are active, they can then connect themselves directly to it, and we'll be notified. So when you hit yes, and then you add this information, if they can answer that business phone number that's connected to any business in the app, it's going to call that phone number instantly and leave them a 4-digit code. So just like Google does for businesses, if you want to claim your business on Google, it's a quick 4-digit PIN code that gets broadcasted over the phone, and then you'll type it into the app, and within seconds it'll connect the KnowWake account to the business account. And if you get a chance, go into our website and you'll see a tab for businesses, and it's all free. We are really excited to connect the businesses and for have the accuracy really shining through, and so people know that the information that's on there is correct. So great question. Love to hear that.
And then Dan, what's in terms of waypoints, going from location to location, is that something you guys do? Is if I'm going from one marina to a restaurant, is that something I can put in a waypoint from point to?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. So what you would actually do is when you go to, there's several ways you can do it, but the easiest way is to click on here. So if you say where to, again, let's just, I don't know, what was it? Harson's? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, just go from Harson's Island to Jefferson Beach Marina.
Harson's Island should come right up. All right. So when we click that, it's actually going to start us in that area. Where do we go here? Okay. Now that we're there, I would go the same way, but I would do choose on chart. And now this allows us to put the pin wherever you want to start. And when you
So
click
say
start,
Safe Harbor, Jefferson Beach Marina.
got it. If you're actually, it'll probably be on there, Jefferson Beach Marina, and it'll be the same way. Beach. And this is another, okay, great. So there it is. So we'll go to that location first. Now, once we hit route, again, because I'm so far away, it's not trying to start that routing. But if we started it from there, see the start and the finish area? I apologize. Yep. We should probably make that so it's usable from outside the range. But you would actually be able to change your start and stop point. So again, it'll be the choose on chart location. Once it starts there, you then have a chance to add it in there. It's a bad example, but yeah, you'll be able to do that from your area.
Yeah, I see it. And Dan, I can't say thank you enough for this cool app that you've developed. Is a lot of people don't understand this thing is out there in the industry, and it is such a useful tool. And it's getting better and better because we first started using this about 2 years ago when you first reached out to us, and it's just been great ever since.
We love hearing that. If you want to learn more about our business or how you can get involved, please contact me. We'd like to share everything we're doing and where we're going, and we're super proud of everything we built. Again, we're having a lot of fun, but the future is super exciting. So thanks for being a part of it, and looking forward to making it better every day for you.
Yeah, and if anybody has any questions, please unmute your mic and throw them out there. This is a one in a lifetime kind of opportunity to get a hold of a developer of an app and really ground base. But Dan, what was the email if people have questions? What do they send it to?
Sure, Dan@knowwake.com will go directly to me, or info@knowwake.com, and then always through any of the messaging services in the social channel. So if you go to our Facebook page and you click message, it will definitely come. Someone will see it pretty quickly, and we really strive to answer as fast as possible as well.
That's awesome. And Dan, we've recorded this meeting, and we're going to post this all throughout our social media campaigns, and then we'll also create a video on YouTube, and then we'll post that link for that too.
Love it. Thanks so much for your help, guys. And yeah, stay in touch. We want to hear about what's working, what you want to see. We're our number one users, just like yourselves. So we really built this app to make things better for ourselves. This started as a hobby when a paper map flew off a boat in 2013. So you can imagine how far we've come and how much we've put into getting all over the country. And just like Freedom, the reciprocal side of using Freedom Boat Clubs everywhere, you can do the same thing with the app. So if you want to explore what it's like in different areas, and you know that there's access to some vessels, this is a great planning tool. We also have a web-based version of it, which is obviously slimmed down. It doesn't have all the app features, but the core chart is there. And we see so many people spending hours on the app and in the chart, planning and thinking about how they're going to spend their days.
Yeah, I got two quick questions. Yeah. So one is there like a subscription fee for this app on the mobile device?
No, sir. We have made it a point to make KnowWake 100% free always. The only difference between the app is if you sign up with an email or if you don't. If you don't sign up with an email, you only have access to the public points of interest. But once you give us your email login, that makes the app really come alive. And you have my word that it's going to remain free forever. And we're focused on building this community. And there's a lot of other ways that we're going to make sure that it can continue to work really well for us.
Thanks, Dan. I'm looking at the web version. I do see the bumpers landing and the cruise in restaurant, which are my favorite. Thank you for that. It looks pretty impressive. Second quick question. So I missed the first few minutes. Did you talk about the difference? Maybe it's two different. Is there any difference, or they are totally different between this app and KnowWake app and let's say Navionics?
We welcome the side-by-side comparisons. We built KnowWake to really cut out the confusion that some of these other apps have built into their user experience. We really pushed for the simplicity and the easiness and the colorfulness, and to really make it so that you can use it on the go while you're on a boat in high sunlight and it's bumpy and you're trying to push a button. You're not having to hit a little button. So we put a lot of thought into the user experience and the user interface side of it. Functionality wise, we're right there with them, and we're going to continue to add to them. The future plans for KnowWake, which are coming together pretty quickly, is the ability to mirror this on your hardware device that's already on your boat. We're also working and partnering with a hardware depth finder, so you're going to be able to plug in other devices. We have huge plans for wearables to now connect to the watch, as well as the augmented reality glasses that are coming. So on top of this being comparable to a Navionics or one of the other newcomers, we're focused on using the power of this supercomputer that we have in our hands and mending the community side of it. We've been doing this since before Waze was popular in the US. So it really makes us smile that we're now Waze for the water. Boat US called us Waze for the water about 6 months ago.
I was literally thinking about Waze. You mentioned that. It's a very nice crowdsourcing product. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you. And again, Dan at KnowWake or info@knowwake.com. I'm really glad to hear that you were poking around in the website. There's a lot of information in there. And if you know business owners or you have favorite businesses, please tell them about us. We want to give them more visibility. And this is our chance to help the boaters and the people on the water get the most out of it. And they know that if we go just another quarter mile around the corner, it's the best burger in town. If we go just around the other corner, we know that we can get 5 cents off a gallon on Wednesdays. So having that connection with these businesses is really where we were excited about putting our energy. So thanks for pointing out that you localized and found some places that you already recognize. And yeah, we're having fun, a lot of fun with this. We're also in 500 freshwater lakes and rivers. So if you're not sure if there's going to be water access or somewhere in some little small lake, pop open KnowWake and you'll start to see. Another thing is these little popular spots you always want to know. There's a great example. Somebody on this random sandbar said it was a great sandbar. So if you have an opportunity, you can go in there. There's all kinds of little surprises when you sort of poke around. It's a very locally used app, and we find that there are people using it all over the world. So this been a great opportunity for us to share it with a boat club who has access to vessels all over the country and now the world too. Congratulations, Freedom. You guys are really doing it.
Dan, again, we'll wrap this up, but thank you very much. And I hope we continue to push this wonderful product that you've created. It's just so much fun to be a part of an entrepreneur who's launching something that is so useful and so needed in our boating community. We really appreciate everything you're doing.
You bet. Right back out to the
Yep.
Freedom Club. Love what you guys have going on up there. And thanks for the communication and the hazard mitigation team. If you don't know it already, there's people that are using you as an example. We follow a lot of other pages, and many people are actually doing what you did, and we're